All right, we're going to be looking at day 11. This is writing decimal numbers in expanded form and word form. But now we're doing some trickier problems. So our trickier problems are really going to lay in three different categories. One, when we have something like 60 hundredths, which is the same as 6/10ths, right? Like this is actually work that kids have done in 4th grade. They just haven't seen it in word form. They saw it in fraction form. They might have seen it in decimal form, but they've never seen it in word form as 60 hundredths. And so the way that we're going to problem solve around that is writing 60 hundredths into our place value chart. The last digit in 60 has to go in the hundredths place because that's the unit that's given. And then once we put it into our place value chart, we see that it's the same as 6/10ths. We could even see it's the same as 600 thousandths. Another type of problem that we'll see is like example 2. Here, I'm going to go back up to example 1 in a second. But example 2, where we have one student that's writing it in word form and another student that's writing it in expanded form, but also in word form, right? So it's like 2 ones, 6/10ths, 100th, 9 thousandths. So that is a word form, but it's also in expanded form. And so understanding that both of those are correct, because they represent the same number. When I plug it into our place value chart, I can see that this is 2 ones and 619 thousandths. I can also see that it's 2 ones, 6/10ths, 100th, and 9 thousandths. And then finally, the other type of problem that we're going to do today is these really tricky ones like 34 tenths. And 34 tenths is actually a whole number plus a decimal number. And so in order to do this, again, we're going to write this number 34 into our tenths place. So the 4 would go in the tens place, the 3 would go into the ones place. We just backfill every other digit in, and then we can see that it's 3 and 4 tenths. As a heads up, some kids may write this as 34 tenths, which is not wrong. We're just going to get there later in the year. 34 tenths is the same as 10 tenths and 10 tenths and 10 tenths and 4 tenths, which is the same as 3 and 4 tenths, which is the same as 3 and 4 tenths. So like that's correct. If you have a student doing that, don't tell them that it's wrong. It's correct. We're just not doing that yet because I really want students using a place value chart to show all of their work, all of their thinking for this unit. And so we're going to start by showing 80 hundredths and 8 tenths. So Zachy wrote 80 hundredths, Zero wrote 8 tenths. Both students were correct. In your packet, I've actually switched these two so that the hundredths grid comes first. And so we'll actually have students shade in all 80 hundredths, shade in all 8 tenths, and you can see that they're the exact same size. So they're the exact same value, they're the same. And then we'll talk about how that's not an efficient strategy. And then another efficient strategy that we could use is a place value chart. So let's go ahead and write both these numbers in. 8 tenths and 80 thousandths, I can see that these two are exactly the same. You might also want to show students the fraction form. 8 over 10 is equal to 80 over 100. We know that from 4th grade. Great. And then what would 8 tenths be if it were written to the thousandths place? Let's go ahead and put it back in our place value chart. If I was to write this to the thousandths place, I'm going to put in these equivalency zeros. These zeros don't change the value of the number at all. They just extend to the place value that I want it to extend to. I would have 800 thousandths. I've already talked about number 2. Now I'm going to talk about number 3. So this is our like 32 tenths. So let's actually go ahead and shade in 32 tenths. And so when I shade in 32 tenths, here's 10 tenths, 10 tenths, 10 tenths, and 2 tenths. I can see I have 3 wholes and 2 tenths left over. We can do a much more efficient strategy by writing it into a place value chart as 32 tenths. The tenths here really has to live or the 2 really has to live in the tenths place because that's the place value that we said. That's the unit that we said. 32 tenths means that that 2 lives there. The 3 drops into the ones place.